Hi guys, welcome back. So today we will learn about how we can adapt our app to different screen sizes in Android. So for that I have written some code already. This code is we have already written in some other tutorials from the scratch. So I have reused that code so that video will not be that longer. I tried to do it so that a video will not be that much longer. If I would have done this from scratch, video would have been very longer than. So suppose let's say we have this app, a simple app, a list of users is there and two tabs are there, right? And on clicking it, it's going to the detail screen. Fine. So now we need to check it how it looks on let's say we check it on tablet device. First of all, let's see how it looks on tablet device. So if we look at it's not wrong here anything, but with tablet, let's rerun it. So actually for tablets or some other large screens, Android have recommended these types of layouts. Three types of layouts are there: listed rail, feed, supporting pane. So this is just for like they have covered the different scenarios, in which scenarios we should use which kind of layout. So you can go through this link. So you will understand like which kind of app will, how we should show the layouts in the large screens, which type of layout we should use. They have recommended here. Let's say for these conversations, listed rail is recommended. So actually our app concept is similar to this. Just for example, you're taking a list of users and then their details, or maybe you can see chat screen, right? So we will use this list detail screen concept, but according to the different scenarios. For video browsing, let's say we need to browse videos, here we can show the list of videos. Here we can, on clicking this we can show it, then on clicking this we can display it. So list detail is recommended for that also. And similarly, supporting pane is recommended for tooling related things. So this is like image editing and we need some tools related to this, so then we can use this, right? This type of content. So and similarly for comments or for posts, let's say social media posts or for news posts, news apps, we can use feed there, right? So feed can be like, we can just divide the items in the multiple columns, right? In some small devices it will be single column, in large devices it will be multiple columns, right? So you can go through this. And so according to this concept, we will be following the social media concept. So that for that the recommended list detail concept. So we will be continuing with list detail here. So if we check it here, so it is a list of users, right? Two tabs are there. So we will be covering this home screen, right? Because we have designed this, so we will be covering this home screen so that we can support it on large screens, right? So for that, first step is we need to add two dependencies there. If you see, this is the window size class and second one is the accompanied adaptive. This for this library is needed because we need to show layouts in large devices in two panes. That is provided by this, and this one is needed because this is the very main library. Everything for supporting the large screens is now centered around this thing, right? So let's continue with that. So first of all, we need some window size class here. It will calculate window size to passing this reference, right? So what will happen? We need to opt in for experimental. This is experimental API currently, right? So now it will calculate width or height wise classes. It will divide the breakpoints in some classes according to the width, like three types of width classes will be there: for compact for mobile devices, and medium one for tablet devices, and the expanded one for the large desktop devices, right? Like for, if we rotate it, it will become large desktop device. So For mobile devices, it considers width less than 600. For tablet devices, between 600 and 840, and for large desktop devices, is considered width greater than 840, right? So that you can easily find in the documentation. That's not it. So what we are covering it here is like how we can implement that. So let's pass it here. This is our app content main. Everything is included here. So let's first of all, because we need some enum class there, that is navigation type, because we will have three types of navigation. When we need to show bottom bars, right? This one, when we need to show navigation rails, I will cover that concept here. So navigation rail is needed on mostly tablet devices, and when we will be needed some fixed navigation drawer here, right? So let's take it. Bottom nav, second one is nav rail, third one is permanent nav drawer, right? And this we will calculate according to width class of using this WindowSizeClass dot WidthSizeClass, right? So when this WindowSizeWidth class is compact, we will be returning navigation type as bottom nav, navrail, permanent nav drawer. In medium, navrail. In expanded, permanent nav. This is for width when width is greater than 840, right? And this is for width between 600 and 840. This is for width between 0 to 600. If you go through, you can check it here, right? And finally, we can add some else case if it can be different from these cases. So for default, we will be considering here bottom nav, right? Fine. So now depending upon this, we will be deciding which type of content we need to display. Before that, let's add two more things here. One is navigation rail, second one is permanent navigation drawer, right? So they will be similar to our bottom tabs. Yeah. So they will be similar to like bottom nav bar. So just copy paste it, and we will convert it into nav bar and permanent navigation drawer. So let's assume this is nav rail, right? It will be needed all the same parameters, and here we can use navigation rail, and similarly here we can use navigation rail item instead of navigation bar item, right? And most of the things will be similar. This logic, like this on click logic, later on we will be extending it in some separate class, but currently we will be using it here itself, right? And similarly, yeah, and let's just add some color as well here. Container color will be material theme dot color scheme dot inverse on surface. This is used by most of the like these bottom tab bars, navigation rail. This is the color which is used by them. And now let's create permanent navigation drawer as well. Permanent nav drawer, let's name it short. So here we will be using permanent navigation drawer, right? This one is not needed there. It will be accepting the drawer content, and inside drawer content it will be accepting the drawer sheet, and then inside drawer sheet we will be using this content, right? And similarly, navigation drawer item, we need to change that. And now few design related things are there. And some brackets are missing. So drawer content, and finally its content will be here. So we can accept content, a composable function here, right? We can add that here and we can call it. So whatever content we will pass, so in the permanent navigation drawer, all this content will go inside that permanent navigation drawer content, right? So this is for this, and similarly this click will be same, but we will be later on extracting it, so this in a common logic so that it can be used in all three. And here we can apply some colors. Navigation drawer item defaults dot, yeah, default dot colors, right? So here we can unselected container color can be transparent. I will explain that why we need to do that, right? So now these three things are ready for us, and now we'll have to decide like which one to use in which case, right? So first of all, let's pass this navigation type inside our app nav host where we are hosting the content. Navigation type, and here we can accept that, and from here we need to pass that in tabs nav graph. Navigation type, similarly need to accept, add that parameter here, right? Because we have our content inside this tabs navigation graph of this content, right? So now we can use this, and so this is our main content actually. So yeah, here we will be using the checks. So let's suppose we have navigation type permanent navigation permanent nav drawer, else it will be like for NavigationRail or bottom nav, right? Two types of content will be there. For that we will not be using the permanent nav drawer, only simple content will be there, but inside this we will be wrapping the content inside navigation drawer. Till this point it's clear, I think. I hope everyone is understanding this scenario. So permanent nav drawer, right? Inside this, what kind of parameters we are accepting? Current destination. So we need to pick up these parameters from yeah, current destination is here, it is. And second one is nav controller is equal to nav controller, fine. And inside this our main content. Cool. So let's try it and run it. So can check it. Currently it's not coming in permanent navigation drawer, but in this, if you rotate it, then it should come. Yeah, it's the permanent navigation drawer and this is content. And now we'll have to adjust these layouts when we need to show them or when not, right? So let's say we need to pass, first of all let's make some design of this better. For that what we can do is, let's give it some width restrictions here that we can apply. Modifier size in. So we need min width equal to suppose 150.dp and max width can be between 230 maybe. As of now we can, and later on we can adjust it. Yeah, now it looks good. So now what can be the next thing? And we can specify drawer container color as well in this sheet, because we need to apply the same color that is on tab or rails. We can apply that color here. Drawer container color, it can be the similar which we apply on the nav rail inverse on surface. Yeah, it looks good now. So now we'll have to make some adjustments here. So let's make those. So where it is used, let's go there. So yeah, in this case, so let's hide and show these things. So let's say if we have this permanent navigation drawer, then we don't need to show this bottom bar, right? So we need to show this bottom bar only in case of bottom nav navigation type, right? Similarly, navigation rail will be displayed in case of nav rail navigation content type. So here we can pass navigation content type, navigation type equal to navigation type, and we can accept that here, and it's, let's pass it at 2 places. Right, and here, so this one is our bottom nav bar, so we can use animated visibility for that. So if whenever it will be visible is when navigation type equal to navigation type dot bottom nav, fine. Only then we need to show it, right? Similarly, so this is our whole content. If for case of mobiles, bottom nav bar will be there. In case of tablets, nav rail will be there. So let's apply nav rail check as well. Here we will be using the nav rail. It requires current destination, nav controller, right? And when it will be visible is only when navigation type will be nav rail, right? Let's check it again. Now you can see bottom tab bar is gone, and if we, yeah, here also bottom tab bar is gone. This is the medium case for nav rail as here. So we can apply few paddings in the items. Modifier dot padding top, just like as of now 20 dp is enough, or maybe we can apply it 50 dp. Yeah, it looks good now, working fine, cool, right? So now let's check it on here. Here also we can apply that spacing and padding in case of permanent nav drawer. Yeah, right, or maybe we can reduce it to 30 as of now. So yeah, so it looks fine now, right? Now few things are remaining. Let's clean up those things. So here in this desktop one case, so we need to display two panes actually, so that it becomes easy for the user to like using their hands and clicking on those things, like clicking on this navigation, and then like, because in this middle part of the screen user is not able to touch their fingers like while he is holding the device. Like if while holding doing that is difficult, but he can like, yeah, pick up from the, keep the device on one hand and from the second hand he can do that. But if he is holding the device in both hands, it's difficult. Due to those facts, we need to divide it in two panes, so we will be using two panes for that. So let's inside go in this main content, and here, so in the home screen we need to apply that change. So let's pass some parameters there in the home screen, right? One is navigation type, will be needed that, and yeah, first of all that is enough. So if navigation type equal to permanent nav driver, else what we are doing, let's do it as it is, right? So in this case we will be using TwoPane. So TwoPane is about like it displays content in two panes. Like if we specify half width, it will display it like in the half width first content, in the second content, right? So in the first content we need home single screen, this is for like home screen, and in the second pane we will be using the user details screen that is there, right? So it requires user ID, so we need to pass user ID as well. And what's its type? Its type is int nullable. Okay, so let's pass that here, and now we need to specify strategy. We want to divide the screen in horizontally, right? So we will use horizontal TwoPane strategy. Split fraction is in how much portion we want to specify first pane and then second pane. So for first pane, let's say we use 0.4, for second pane we will be using 0.6, and similarly we can specify gap between them 16.dp, right? And display feature is, we are not covering this in this tutorial. It is for foldable devices, we will cover that in some other video, otherwise video scope will increase. So let's check it now how it goes. Yeah, so we need to pass those parameters here. First of all, like, so currently we are passing the user ID as navigation arguments. So instead of doing this, we can extract this logic just in the some view model. So we can keep the state in the view model for the whole screen, right? For this whole screen, like this whole screen. But as of now, I'm just passing it as static. We will update it. And second one is navigation type. Let's pass that one as well. And now we can make this as the last parameters, right? Yeah, if you see, it looks cool now, but currently the logic is not that perfect according to this. So yeah, let's check that. So here we are displaying, or maybe, yeah, it's enough for this, or maybe we can increase this to 0.45. Yeah, it looks better now, because in the detail screen we need much content than this. Here we are just showing image or name. So yeah, or let's say it is some social media and we are displaying the list of users, and here it will be displaying the chat screen. So for this example, you can consider it user detail, right? So now we need to make some changes here. First of all, we don't need to show this one if it's displaying on the same screen, right? So for that we can use one parameter there that will control that, right? So is only detail screen. So it means if it's only detail screen, then we will show that, otherwise we will hide that, right? So let's apply that check here. We will hide top bar in that case. So basically if it's true, we will be showing only then this, right? So let's first of all try to hide it. Suppose just for testing, let's check it if it's working or not. From here also we need to pass that, and let's pass it as of now inside this as well, right? If we see, yeah, that's gone, right? But still few logic is missing, we will be doing that. So now let's come to that point. So from where we will be passing this. And now we need to control that back button actually. So that part is remaining. Now we will need to do that. So first of all, we have a home view models class is there. So here we can like a home UI state is there that I created before. We needed user ID there and is only screen. So maybe we can make it is only detail screen, right? We can refactor it, right? So here we will be updating the state and currently. So let's use this view model inside our main activity. So it will be on the top outside all the app content. That is the recommended way of using view models. So let's use view model here. Home view model, fine. And from where we will be picking up those states, right? First one is, let's pick up first of all UI state here. From view model dot UI state dot collect as state, because in the Jetpack Compose we are collecting that data as state only because we are working with the state, right? And from now here on we will be using those two variables. Inside this, let's pass selected user ID of int and is, we can name it same, only detail screen, right? These two parameters we will be needing. So here we can pass that selected user ID equal to UIState dot value dot user ID, and similarly is only screen is UIState dot value dot is only detail screen, right? So now we can pass it more down, like right, and let's now go here and now inside this and here we will be using them, passing in the main content. Right, similarly here, right, and here we need to declare them. So now we will be using them, we will passing them in the screens. So here we will be using that selected user ID, and here also we will not be passing that, we will be controlling that from the view model, right? And here we need to update that. Right, user ID equal to selected user ID, right? So we have passed that, and now we need to update this here, like on clicking, right? So first we need to update it, then we need to navigate. So for that we need one callback, right? We can pass this one as well, right? So we need one callback. So actually we need two callbacks. First, in some cases we need to update full state as well. And second one is if we need to update only user ID. Right, so we will be calling this will be accepting one parameter, that we will be calling here get user ID and passing this user ID here. And now let's go back. Right, we need to pass this in all the tree. In here, and now same thing here, and now here, here we have passed. So from here we need to go back here, and from here and now again go back till the root. Yeah, here it comes. So here we will be declaring them. Let's pass them. Update full state, this will be off. Update user ID, it will be accepting user ID parameters, that is of int type. Turn type is none. So here what we will be doing is home view model dot update user ID it, right? And here actually we need two parameters which we forgot to use. First one is of int, second one is of boolean for updating the state, and here we will be updating the full state and user ID comma boolean user ID well equal to user ID comma is only screen is boolean 1, right? So we need to make some changes here. Boolean right. We applied some wrong return type. Is it fine now? Yeah. Yeah, it will crash because we have not applied some logics there. So let's check it. First of all, let's hide that arrow, and here we need to. So what will be happening on the clicking the item detail? So first of all, let's control that logic. In case of, we need to initialize where we are using actually. Yeah, here actually we need to do one thing that will happen only one time. So here we will be doing is we will be calling update full state. Initially we need to give it some state that is 0 and false, but usually we will be updating this id from the first item id from the list screen, from the home screen, using the callback, right? But here I am doing it like initially we will passing the first id here. So you can see, yeah, some issues there on click. Yeah, think we are using navigate. This one we need to remove because now we are not using the arguments, right? We are directly updating the state in the view model. Yeah, few things are there. So why? Because it's applying navigation here. So we need to stop that logic. So on click we need to make some changes now. So let's do those changes here. So in the go to user detail, the home screen. So yeah, this one, this logic we need to now maintain. Let's move it in a callback actually, so that it will be easier to maintain. Let's pass a callback here. Go to user detail, and it will be accepting one user ID, return type is unit, and we will be using that here. Let's copy this, and for that we will be passing it and removing this from here, right? And first of all, let's add that logic here. Go to user detail, so it will be of type function with one parameter, and return type is unit. So we can use that parameter here, and here we need to apply some logic actually, because now we are using navigation this thing only in home, oh sorry, in the mobile device, right? So we'll have to apply some check here. If navigation type is like bottom navigation, only then we will be doing this. So right here we will be doing controller dot, actually use this one, and else we will be just updating the full state actually here. So user id comma, so is full screen, we will be passing false here, because in except mobile we don't need full screen, right? This will be for tablet and desktop devices, right? And now let's pass it and similarly here. Let's run it. And if we press back, yeah, it's fine, it's going back. So but now let's check it in the NavRail. If something is missing, it's not working, maybe we didn't apply it somewhere. We need to apply for NavRail as well. So what we will be doing in that case, we will be actually displaying that in the full screen. Here is apply that check. Yeah, actually that check is missing here. So when we need to, yeah, so if selected like user ID is not equal to null and is only detail screen. So in this case, so this case will be covering both mobile and navigation rail, right? So in this case, if only detail screen, so we need to display detail, sorry, not this one, actually detail screen. Let me add that. It will be user detail screen. Can pick it up from here, right? Else only home screen, right? Let's say it. Yeah, picking up something from cache. I don't know what happens. So yeah, now it's displaying, but now we need to handle this back on back. So on back, what we need to do is we need to close detail screen, right? So let's pass one callback for that one as well. Close detail screen, right? We will be calling that here. Let's just name it on detail back pressed, right? And let's call it here. Because in this case there will be no back case, because we are not displaying that back button, right? On back press, we don't need any parameters there, right? So now let's go back one detail back pressed, and now we need to apply that similar ways like passing it upside. So let's first of all go there and create one method for this one as well, right? Like this. We need to apply some checks, so we can name it close user detail. It's not accepting any parameters, right? So in case of, so what will happen here is, again we need to check out. So in case of, if type is navigation bottom nav, so what will happen is we need to only pop back stack, right? We will have to use nav controller, right? And we will pop back. And if it's nav rail, then what we need to do is, so here update full state. In case of nav rail, on back we need to update this, right? Because now we will be updating the full state, and this is in case of, in this case we will set it 0 for the first item. In this case we can set it null, or 0 we can set 0 as well. So now let's pass this down in the similar ways we passed another method. Now let's pass it more down. Right, so here we will be passing that method indirectly, and similarly what it's showing is here also we need to pass that. Let's check it now. Yeah, it's working fine, right? Working cool. This is for tablet device. Yeah, we are not displaying bottom tabs, we are displaying navigation rail. It is working perfectly fine, right? And let's check it on desktop device. Here also it's displaying user ID 2, user ID 3 for the selected user, displaying the content according to that, right? And now let's, yeah, back handle is also working fine. If we press the device back button, right, that's taking us outside the screen. But now here we should not go to login screen. This is some common logic here we can do. Navigate to, when we are navigating to tab, let's pop up to login and inclusive is equal to true. We need to pop login as well, right? So after login we go to home screen, and if we come back then we don't want to display login again, right? If user is logged in, right? So here it this is something it's picking up from cache. I don't know why this happens in the compose. Yeah, you can see that's working fine now, right? And now let's finally last time check it on the mobile device. Everything is working fine or not. So two devices we have already checked. So yeah, here it's showing bottom tabs fine, it's working also fine. Yeah, user ID is null. Let's check it. So what's happening? So maybe one thing we are not updating. Yeah, I got that actually why it's happening. So when we are clicking this, go to user details. So here we need to update this one as well, but not full screen. No, full screen is also fine. Yeah, because that will be full screen here. So let's check it. Yeah, it's working perfectly fine. 1, 3, cool, everything right. So now this screen looks pretty good on all the devices, on tablets, and similarly like on, yeah, the auto rotation is not enabled on this, so for tablet devices as well. So that was our intention of this video. So we have supported it on the from the mobile device to all large devices. So now it's working perfectly fine as well, right? So guys, now let's check it finally again on tablets. So this is for tablet case, right? Here we again, instead of bottom navbar, we are just showing the navigation rail. It's working, right? And the second thing is, in case of tablets, we are using two panes because we are displaying that parallelly, that thing. For that, we are using a home view model for maintaining the state. Right here we are updating the, like in both cases we need to update. If we click on this, we need to update selected user ID, and second thing is if this screen is full screen or not. Those two things are managed, right? And this is also working perfectly fine. So guys, this is about how we can support different screen sizes in Jetpack Compose. So we have used the WindowSizeClass there and TwoPane there, and then we use the home view model for maintaining the whole state of the screen. Like from screen we use the home view model, and then what we did is we tried to update these logics, like when we need to go to user detail, that logic will need to update, and then while we were closing that, like from this we are closing that screen we need to update, right? So this part is done now. So these are the few things, these are the few important steps we need to make. Handle this back button, showing or hiding that, and handling this click button. These are some different scenarios we need to cover. And then displaying the content according to navigation types, that is also the important step. So this is all about, I will put the code in the description of the video. So this is all about how we can support different screen sizes in Android. So if you guys like the video, a humble request, please like, share and comment it. This is the only request, so please, so that it can reach to other developers or others like students who are learning it. So that's it from my side. In the next video we'll be covering some other topics. Till then, bye bye, take care, have a great time, keep coding.